All right, we are starting Unit 2, Exponents and Scientific Notation, if my notebook will help me out here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is talk about powers and exponents. And your learning target says, I can write, simplify, and evaluate expressions involving exponents, can multiply powers with the same base, divide powers with the same base, and simplify expressions with negative exponents. And that's basically what we're going to be covering for the first week or two in this unit, are all of those things. So now would be a great time, if you didn't already print this on this page offline, to go through and either pause this so you can get this stuff written down, or print it off so that you can copy it. Because remember, just watching the video is not enough. You need to be taking notes as well. All right, so back in 6th grade, when you first talked about what an exponent, you may recall what the exponent is and what the base is. So over here, I'm just going to give you an example. So if I write 3 and then this little 5 at the top, together that whole thing is a power. But if we just look at it individually, the 3 is called the base. So that 3 is the base. That 5 is called the exponent. So it has an exponent of 5, or you could say 3 to the 5th power. So this 5 is the exponent. And then both of these things together, the exponent and the base together, are called a power. Okay. So now if we're looking at this, the base, I like to say the base is like the big guy because it's the number that's written big. Okay. So the base in a power, the base is the number being repeated or multiplied by itself. So the big guy is the number being repeated. And what we mean by repeated is multiplied by itself. So in this example, it would say 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. The little flying number, that little exponent, okay, the little exponent is what tells us how many times the base is being repeated or multiplied. So it tells how many times the base is being repeated or multiplied. So because that exponent is a 5, then that means that 3 is getting repeated 5 times. So again, a power is a base and exponent put together, as you saw in the Math Antics video. When combining like terms, so like terms mean they have to be things that are the same. So when we're combining like terms, we always want the number first and then the variable. And I know you guys have heard this in your other math classes before. So if it's like 5x, you're not going to say x5. The number always comes before the variable, okay? So it says combine the like terms, use the number or variable as the base, and the exponent is how many of each you have, okay? So your exponent is how many of each you have. The number of variable is going to be your base. So for example, if I'm looking at this one, I'm going to break this up because I have a couple different things. So in 7th grade, when you guys combine like terms, we did like boxing things in, circling them, putting a triangle around them, those sorts of things. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to highlight everything that's a 5 in yellow. And so now 5 is going to be my base. How many 5s do I have? I have 2 so 2 is going to be my exponent. All right, next, it looks like I have x's. So I'm going to do those x's in blue. So what number of variable is being repeated? X. That becomes my base. How many are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 becomes my exponent. And then last thing, if I'm looking down here, it looks like I just have one y. So y is my base. How many I have is my exponent. Now, if you only have 1, you don't have to put the exponent of 1 because no exponent is understood to be a 1 because we just see 1. All right, let's try it with this next one. I'm going to go through in any one because that came first. I'm going to go ahead and do that in green. All right, so it looks like I have 1 is going to become my base. And I have 1, 2, 3 of them. So 3 is my exponent. Next, it looks like I have some 4s. Okay, so I think I got all my 4s. So 4 is my base. I have 2 4s, so 2 is my exponent. All right, how about 3s? And I just usually go in order as how they appear in the problem. So 3, oh, that's my only 3. So when that's your only 3 and it doesn't have an exponent, sometimes you can put it in parentheses to separate it so that you know it doesn't go with whatever is next here. Okay, so my next thing that I'm looking at, it looks like Q's. And I have 2 Q's, so Q is my base. And there are 2 of them, so 2 is my exponent. All right, go ahead and pause the video and do this last example and then start it back up and see how you did. Looks like I have 6's, so 6 is my base. I have 2 6's, 2 is my exponent. And then I got a whole bunch of 7's here. So 7 is my base, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 becomes my exponent. All right, down here it says simplify the expressions. That means solve it. Tell me what it actually